happens to be our beautiful friend, which we've had before this today, William Shakespeare, 1564. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderer in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this is life to thee. Shakespeare tells us all. And this one is called Courage, and it's by Emily Bronte, and I love her. She's great.
She's good.
1818 to 1848. Riches I hold in light esteem, and love I love to scorn, and lust of fame was but a dream that vanished with the morn. And if I pray, the only prayer that moves my lips for me is, leave the heart that now I bear, and give me liberty. Yes, as my swift days near their goal, 'tis all that I implore, in life and death, a chainless soul with courage to endure. And then the next one. These are a collection of poems. In Australia, we used to read poetry when we were very little. And so most of these at some point in time I memorized. But they're sort of symbolic of what's happening today. This is Percy Shelley, 1792 to 1822, Ozymandias of Egypt. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of snow-'s cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions bred which yet survive, stamped on this lifeless things, the hand that mocked him and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear: my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my work, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. This is another one I like. It's called Wisdom, the Voice of God, by James Stevens, 1882 to 1950. I've been together.
What is that?
One sec.
Somebody said that. It's the voice of God. I bent again unto the ground, and I heard the quiet sound which the grasses make when they come up laughing from the day. We are the voice of God, they said. Thereupon I bent my head down again, that I might see if they truly spoke to me. But around me everywhere, grass and tree and mountain were thundering in mighty glee, we are the voice of deity. And I leapt from where I lay. I danced upon the laughing clay, and to the rock that sang beside, "We are the voice of God," I cried. We're all the voice of God. This is the last one, and this is my own. It's called Paradise and a Dream Time. Uluru is this wonderful big red rock in the middle of Australia, and it's supposed to be the most sacred place in the entire world. And it's taken from The Ride of the Womb, which was published in their other memoirs. We shall meet again in paradise, in the dream time, a land without borders, but symbolized by the great red rolling rock that rises up from the Middle Earth, and by day ignites the sun, and by night reflects the firmament and the celestial paradise. Will the women of the dream time please rise up? Please rise up. Go visit the great Creator through the corridor of the womb. Drink from the waters of eternal living, but return, oh, do return from the paradise of that fountain, of the mesmerizing dreaming, and give to the lands that are parched with hatred the secrets of the self-fulfilling.
Tomorrow, 5 o'clock, 3433 Cahuenga Boulevard West. It's a blue building on the right-hand side if you come in Cahuenga. There's street parking. Not a lot of parking, but there's street parking across from Universal Studios. Okay! I wrote a book called Starving Swallows, which not too many people know about. 2008, when I first moved here. This is my first book that I wrote when I moved here, and I was angry because I was off my medication. I was going through a divorce. I had just come off homelessness. I didn't know the city at all. I couldn't stand Los Angeles, and you can tell in this book there's a lot of anger. It's not a love, too, a lot of anger. So here we go. If anything, they've shot me down. Those wicked, wistful witches of warfare, except they had no broom, only their own hands and hooks. What do we do when bad things keep happening to good people? What does God say about that? Whatever happened to dignity and grace? Perhaps the 405 to Vacaville, those whistling whiplash wahoos who protect their ass at any cost, who look you in the face and lie through their teeth while patting you on the back and telling you how right you are and how they always really loved you. And that, oh big yeah, you've got it all wrong. They would never do anything bad to you unless, of course, it's in your best interest. I rid myself of these pioneers of pain, these stranded sailors of suffering and slew. I will not surround myself with them any longer. No more leafy leeches eating me out of house and home. No more transparent liars asking for emotional handouts or oily affirmations because they say they love you. No more sacrilegious scam artists and hum bunnies painting their faces red to give them the color God gave them naturally. No more barren boxes of baloney talking about everything but doing nothing. No more, no more, no more. No more California avalanches missing everyone else but me.
Wow.
I also had a divorce, as I said, before I moved out here. And so this is about that. I still think about it from time to time, but if we got back together, we'd just be regurgitating the same problems we had before, so it wouldn't work. And it was really bad at the end, real bad. She would say black, I'd say white. She'd say yes, I'd say no. It just didn't work. Anyway, here we go. Divorce. On this soft down of sofa I sit tonight, thinking of karma and clicking. We walk the sand together, you and I, in minutes of unagitated glee, like two grasshoppers tilting toward paradise. Now I search for an iota of truth, as tears dot page. Some scrap of singular satisfaction in those eyes so blue. and soon the papers will come, and they will be read, and they will be signed, and I'll remember us as we were, dancing at that club in Destin, Florida, where you juked like a jujube on acid, screaming at anyone and everyone who laughed at my moves. That is before I take razor to wrist and watch you trickle down my arm.
Wow.
This is a good book. Actually, they're all pretty good. What else am I supposed to read?
Give me a notebook.
I know, I'll read it, don't worry. This is, I got a lot of these books left. I know I sound like a salesman, but I really could care less because this is how I make the money and this is how I keep going on. This is called A Tale of Two Towns, poetry about Santa Barbara and Las Vegas. And it's a good book. And I'm selling it for a mere $5. That's all, $5. Okay, you can't beat that deal.
I'll take one.
Well, thank you. All right, sounds great. Here we go with one of the better poems in here. Saturday night over Santa Barbara. Dark as diligence, peaceful as rhyme, calm as a French mime. The sun turns away in an ocean of spray, only to say good day. Life is not what it always seems, under your hand-woven covers and linens of cream. I ride the platinum surfboard into your mouth and destroy your plastic teeth. South and north are mine, east and west as well. The delicate sky belies the craters of your tongue, Santa Barbara, crow black and swat dark. They mark the lunar absolute, indented on this evening of might, the midnight of longest bite, sweetest Santa Barbara. Now, Patricia really wanted me to read this one. Okay, wrong book. Okay, I'll read it. She was bitten by a dog earlier this week. Patricia was. And we had to take her to the emergency room in our favorite hospital and yours, where all the celebrities go to die, St. Joseph's. So this is one I wrote in the waiting room, which is a lot of fun in the ER. Waiting in the ER on an early Monday morning. The one I love sits next to me, having been bitten by a dog in my apartment complex about 3 hours ago. My flower is as sensitive as a rosebud and as anxious as a truck driver in the express lane. She says that when she screamed loud enough for the entire apartment complex to hear her. My dearest has the luck of a grounded whale. She falls into the soft green chair wrapped in favorite padded blue coat. She reminds of a tired mermaid asleep at the shore. A coffee queen surrounded by sick and weary subjects here in the waiting room of Providence St. Joseph's Medical Center in Burbank, California on this first morning of April. Life is much too difficult to live. A practice in redundancy, burrowing and badgering its way into our skin like a bad virus. Existence floating down the brown Mississippi like a barge without a crew. Dark sewage with no clue. A dead tree of a different hue.
Wow. Is that
April Fool's? Is it April Fool's? What'd you ask me?
Is that April Fool's?
Yeah, it was April Fool's. Yeah, April Fool's. Tim was no joke. Okay.
Exactly.
Next up. You're just sitting there. Where's Oscar?
He's not well today. He's been in
Oh.
the hospital this week. He was planning on being here, but unfortunately.
Good make it. Yeah.
But let's see. I actually spent 6 hours today in the library, and I finished my book.
Good for
My
you.
newest book.
That's great.
It's called, what is it called? Philosopher, Poet in a Field of Dreams. By Richard Del Connor. It's going to be 6 by 9. It's actually like this. I just had to print it this out. But anyway, I'm real excited. What I did was I made it up. I printed all the poetry on the left side and hand wrote it on the right side. So I was able to kind of embellish and have a little expression with it. And boy, that turned out a lot of work. So anyway, I'll read you a poem from here. And